Hello, welcome everyone to the 36th session of Current Affairs 2020 Economy and Banking Concepts. Let us start with the first question. Which was the first bank to established exclusively by Indians? Now, if you look back to the history, during the time of East India Company, there were several banks in India, and most of the banks were started by Europeans or Americans, and they were all private banks, and they were also banks started by prince of different places or different states of the country, but in association with some Europeans. But the first bank established exclusively by Indians was Allahabad Bank. It was named as Allahabad Bank because it started in Allahabad. However, presently the head office is in Kolkata, and very recently it got merged with Indian Bank. So the first bank to get started exclusively by Indians is Allahabad Bank. The answer is option number 1. Presently the logo looks like this. It got merged with Indian Bank. Now, as we know that in 2020 there are a number of merge up took place. The process started in 2019 and number of merge up took place. At present there are total 12 PSU banks in India. Remember, there are total 12 PSU banks in India. Let us quickly write down those names. State Bank of India got merged with the associate banks of State Bank of India and Bharatiya Mahila Bank, and it is now the largest lender in our country. So the largest lender in our country is State Bank of India. It got merged, the other banks which got merged with SBI are the associate banks of State Bank of India and Bharatiya Mahila Bank. The other merge-ups, Oriental Bank of Commerce and UBI, United Bank of India. Oriental Bank of Commerce and United Bank of India got merged with PNB, the second largest lender in the country, Punjab National Bank. Oriental Bank of Commerce and UBI got merged with Punjab National Bank. Vijaya Bank and Dena Bank. Vijaya Bank and Dena Bank got merged with Bank of Baroda. Vijaya Bank and Dena Bank got merged with Bank of Baroda. Syndicate Bank got merged with Canara Bank. Andhra Bank and Corporation Bank got merged with Union Bank. And Allahabad Bank got merged with Indian Bank. So if you look at, these are the 6 banks which are formed after merge up. So that are total, as I said, there are total 12 PSUs, 6 where number of banks got merged up. So what are the 6 banks? State Bank of India, SBI, PNB, Punjab National Bank, Bank of Baroda, Canara Bank, Union Bank and Indian Bank, right? And there are 6 other banks which are existing as an independent bank without any merge up. These are Bank of India, Central Bank, Bank of India, Central Bank, Indian Overseas Bank, UCO Bank, Bank of Maharashtra and Punjab and Sindh Bank. Let me repeat it once again. Bank of India, Central Bank, Indian Overseas Bank, UCO Bank, Bank of Maharashtra BOM and Punjab and Sindh Bank, thus making it total 12. So 6 where number of banks got merged up and the 6 which where no merge up took place. So thus making it total 12 PSU banks at present. Alright. The largest lender in the country is SBI, the second largest is PNB and third largest PSU is now Bank of Baroda. Indian Bank MD and CEO Mr. Padmaja Chunduru, it's Mr. Padmaja Chunduru, the MD and CEO of Indian Bank. Allahabad Bank, as it got merged with Indian Bank, so there is no separate MD or CEO for Allahabad Bank at present. Canara Bank, we discussed earlier, chairman is T.N. Manoharan. T.N. Manoharan is the chairman of Canara Bank. State Bank of India, we have Mr. Rajneesh Kapoor, who is the chairman. There is no MD and CEO. There are individual MDs are there. There are 4 MD. There are 3 which are designated. One is the post is vacant. So there are 4 managing directors in State Bank of India. Chairman is Mr. Rajneesh Kumar. Remember, Mr. Rajneesh Kumar is also the chairman of IBA, Indian Banks Association, IBA. Punjab National Bank, MD and CEO is S.S. Mallikarjun Rao. S.S. Mallikarjun Rao. Punjab National Bank, MD and CEO is S.S. Mallikarjun Rao. Alright, so answer for this question is Allahabad Bank. Let us move to the next question. What is an Indian Depository Receipt? What is an Indian Depository Receipt? IDR. An instrument in the form of depository receipt created by an Indian depository against underlying equity shares of the issuing company. A deposit account in Indian bank by a foreigner, a deposit account in a foreign bank by India, a deposit account with public sector bank. The answer is option number 1. But let's understand, because there is a scope of understanding to be developed, and there's related to share market. So let us understand what is this IDR or Indian Depository Receipt. And what is this Indian depository? So to understand it, I'll take you to the next slide. Let us look at this situation. Suppose there is an Indian company, maybe a reputed Indian company. Now the Indian company is interested to raise some fund from the market. Now what are the options? It can borrow from other companies or banks. It can also issue its shares in the share market. Now suppose a particular Indian company has already issued its shares in the share market and it has raised some fund, and further it is interested to raise some fund from international market, foreign investors. Maybe an investor in USA, they are interested to invest in some Indian company, and it happened actually, number of Indian entities which have raised fund from abroad. Say for example, in banking sector we can talk about HDFC Bank, which has raised fund from abroad. Now what is this process? Remember, this depository receipts are actually it's a form of shares only, but let us understand how it. Now as you see, there is an Indian entity, and the Indian entity is interested to raise some fund from foreign investors, or in other words, the foreign investor is interested to invest some money in some of the Indian company, or would like to buy shares of Indian company. So how they can do it? What is the route? So what happens? This Indian entity would like to, the Indian entity will give some shares to the domestic custodian. A domestic custodian could be an Indian depository. So what is a depository? A depository are like a godown. It's like a digital godown, or a stock point where the shares are kept, or shares are kept in the electronic forms. So this domestic custodian holds the shares of this electronic form of that company, and it has a counterpart. It has a partner which is an overseas depository, which is also in USA, let's say. So after receiving the shares of this Indian company, this domestic custodian or the Indian depository informs its partner and transfers the share to the overseas depository, which also holds the share in e-form. Now when it holds the share in the e-form, it tells, or it acknowledges, this word is very important, it acknowledges the foreign investors that, see, I have already kept or hold or made a locker for you, digital locker for you, where the shares of this Indian company is kept with me. This acknowledgement given to the foreign investor is known as depository receipt. This acknowledgement by this overseas depository to the investor is known as depository receipt. Okay, so there are mostly three types of depository receipt we'll come across. ADR is American Depository Receipt, GDR is Global Depository Receipt, and IDR is Indian Depository Receipt. Very easy. If an Indian entity is borrowing from America, so we'll use ADR, American Depository Receipt. If the Indian company or entity is borrowing from other European countries, then it will go for GDR, Global Depository Receipt. So here this depository receipt will be named as Global Depository Receipt. For Indian Depository Receipt, the entire cycle will be reversed. Now the fund will come from Indian investor to the foreign entity, and the domestic custodian, Indian depository, will become the overseas depository, and this will give the acknowledgement to the Indian investor. So in this case, in case of IDR, Indian Depository Receipt, an Indian investor is interested to invest in some foreign shares. Just reverse of this. So in that case, what happens? The Indian depository now behaves as the overseas depository, and it gives IDR to the Indian investor, that is Indian Depository Receipt. So let's come back to this question once again. What is Indian Depository Receipt? An instrument, yes, it is a financial instrument in the form of depository receipt created by an Indian depository. Yes, it is created by an Indian depository against underlying equity shares of the issuing company. Who issued the shares now? This one, this company, a foreign company issued the shares, and the depository receipt is issued against the underlying share of that issuing company. The company which has issued the shares, it went to that depository of that country. From there it comes to Indian depository, and based on this underlying shares, IDR is issued to the Indian investor. In case of American Depository Receipt, the cycle is entirely reversed. So this process is regulated by SEBI. SEBI is responsible and regulator for the entire process. So answer for this question, question number 2, is 1, an instrument in the form of depository receipt created by an Indian depository. Alright, so there are three types of depository receipts: ADR, GDR and IDR. Broadly, these are the three main depository receipts we talk about. And also remember a very important thing, these depository receipts can be further traded in the share market. That means the depository receipt which has been issued by this overseas depository to the foreign investor, say it's in case of American Depository Receipt, it can be further traded in New York Stock Exchange or maybe NASDAQ. Similarly, the IDR can be traded in Bombay Stock Exchange or National Stock Exchange. So ADR or maybe IDR, they are tradable. This person can further sell it to somebody else. They can trade it in share market. So this is also true about depository receipts. I hope it is clear. Very important with respect to the PO level exams or maybe RBI Group B exams. However, in RRB, that is RRB, IBPS RRB level exam, this should be considered a slightly difficult question. Let's move to the next question. What is the maximum amount for which a currency note can be printed by RBI? What is the maximum amount? Presently, we have the maximum denomination of currencies 2000 rupees. Prior to that, we had 1000 rupees. Now, what is the maximum amount RBI can print without any further approval? Now, as per the existing RBI Act, RBI can print a currency note of maximum 10,000 rupees. Now, a question comes, can RBI print more than 10,000 rupees? Yes, but then there has to be an amendment in the RBI Act in the Parliament. So only the Parliament changes some clause in the RBI Act, then only RBI can go on printing a currency note more than 10,000. Okay. Now, on behalf of RBI, which body is responsible for printing the currency notes? It is BRB NMPL. BRB NMPL. Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited. Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited. The headquarter is in Bangalore. And remember, it is 100% subsidiary of RBI. That means the company is entirely owned by RBI. There are 4 printing presses in the country where currency notes are printed: Mysore, West Bengal, Nasik and Devas in MP. Out of these 4, these 2 are in direct control, under the direct control of BRB and MPL. There are 4 places where currencies are printed. Also remember, this plant in Devas and Nasik, particularly in Devas, they also print, or they have printed earlier, currencies for other countries like Nepal, maybe other SAARC countries. They have printed currencies for other nations also. Okay. However, there are other locations where we heard of printing, but remember, those are different. Like, those are owned by Securities Printing and Minting Corporation of India Limited. Like in Hyderabad, we have a printing unit which is owned by Securities Printing and Minting Corporation of India Limited, where mostly postal stamps, national savings certificate, and maybe those government securities, those type of things are printed. But currency is printed only in these 4 locations, and there are mints also where coins are minted. So as long as this question is concerned, these are the 2 things which are important takeaway. One is obviously that 10,000 rupees is the maximum cap, and the full form of BRB and MPL, Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited. Let's move to the next question. Dash refers to the reserves kept by central bank against its currency liability. Out of the 5 options, there is one particular system which refers to the reserves kept by central bank against its currency liability. The answer is minimum reserve system. The answer is minimum reserve system. Under minimum reserve system, central bank, that is RBI, need to maintain a minimum asset. Now, according to that limit, the asset level is 200 crores, of which minimum 115 crores, 115 crores has to be in terms of gold or gold bullion. So that has to be maintained, and the rest in terms of forex, foreign exchange, has to be maintained by RBI. In fact, if you look at this process or this system, actually running till 1956. Before 1956, proportional reserve system was there. It has been replaced by the minimum reserve system. So the amount RBI has to keep as a reserve is 200 crores in terms of gold or gold bullion or foreign exchange, and where is a minimum is 115 crores in terms of gold. Let us go to the next question. Which is the first regional rural bank in India? Now this is a common question. Many a times it has appeared in bank exam. I'm sure many of you know the answer. The answer is Prathama Bank, Prathama Gramin Bank. Now this Prathama Gramin Bank was actually started in 1975, October 2, Gandhi Jayanti, because the philosophy of Gandhian economy, the rural empowerment, taking that into mind, the government of India thought of starting regional rural banks, and the first bank was Prathama Gramin Bank, the sponsored bank. As you know, for every regional rural bank there is a sponsored bank. So and the sponsored banks are usually PSU banks. So for Prathama Gramin Bank, the sponsored bank is Syndicate Bank. Remember, Syndicate Bank got tied up or got Merged with which bank? Canara Bank. So presently there is no separate existence of Syndicate Bank. Syndicate Bank got merged with Canara Bank. Now Syndicate Bank as the sponsored bank, it was in Moradabad district of Uttar Pradesh, and the committee which made the recommendation for this is Narasimham Committee on Rural Credit. Narasimham Committee on Rural Credit. I hope you could take it down. So the first regional rural bank, okay, Moradabad district of Uttar Pradesh and Narasimham Committee on Rural Credit. Let's move to the next question. What is the cooperative banks at the village level known as? Now, for cooperative banks in our country, it is a three-tier structure. It has got three layers. The topmost layer is, or tier 1 is state cooperative bank. The tier 2 is central cooperative bank, which is at the district level. And the third layer and the most basic or the frontline layer is tier 3 is primary agriculture cooperative societies. These are called PACs. In short, they are called PACs. Primary agriculture cooperative societies. So the answer for this one is primary agriculture cooperative societies. Now remember, we talked in one of our previous classes, Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation of India. What does they do? They provide insurance to the deposits kept in the bank up to 5 lakh rupees. So which all banks are covered under Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation of India? All commercial banks, including the branches of foreign banks in India, private banks, regional rural banks, cooperative banks, both in the state level and central level. But remember, central in the sense district level. Do not confuse it. Central means central government level. Central cooperative bank is a district level. But primary agriculture cooperative societies are not under the scheme of Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation of India. So answer for this question is option number 3. Which of the following is incorrect about NBFC, non-banking financial companies? Which of the following is incorrect, not correct? An NBFC can accept demand deposits. This is absolutely wrong. This is one of the most fundamental difference between a bank and an NBFC. If you think of what is a demand deposit, the money we keep it in savings account or current account. What is the difference of this savings account of current account with term deposit? The money which is in savings account and current account, we can withdraw whenever we demand it using an ATM card or a withdrawal slip or a check. Whenever we are going to demand it, the bank is going to give it back to us. Whereas term deposits are like we are going to get it back later after a certain period of time. Now there are NBFCs which can be accepting the term deposits also. However, these demand deposits are not accepted by any NBFCs. Remember, this is the most fundamental difference. Again, NBFCs cannot issue checks drawn on itself. Very natural, because checks are related only with demand deposits. Checks are associated with savings account and current account. So if an NBFC cannot have a savings account and current account, how can it issue checks drawn on itself? Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation of India, yes, they do not cover the deposits made in NBFCs. As I mentioned in the previous question, they cover only commercial banks. This scheme is not for NBFCs. NBFCs are regulated by Government of India. No, NBFCs are, those who are financial market intermediaries are regulated by RBI. Those who are capital market intermediaries are regulated by SEBI. So there are NBFCs which are regulated by SEBI. There are NBFCs which are regulated by RBI. Remember, RBI and SEBI are autonomous body. They are not under Government of India. So NBFCs are not regulated by Government of India. And so the answer for this question should be all of this. Okay, let us move to the next question. Which among the following nations will launch its first Arctica M satellite for monitoring Arctic climate and environment at the end of the year 2020? Among this, if you look at this as a purely current affair based questions, now you must read it somewhere, then only it will be easy. Otherwise, guessing is also not possible. Um, the answer for this one is Russia, and the name of the space agency of Russia is Roscosmos, is the state corporation of space activities. In short, it is also known as Roscosmos is the name of space agency of Russia. Like for India, we have ISRO, for USA, we have NASA, and for Russia, it is Roscosmos. However, recently, if you follow the news, one more name appears in the news very frequently. It's SpaceX and Elon Musk. SpaceX is a private space agency based in California, USA. It is like they are, into launch vehicles and private launch vehicles. So they launch satellites of USA, and also in space travel. So they are trying to commercialize the space travel. And Elon Musk is the founder and the head of SpaceX. I'm sure you have heard of the name of Elon Musk as the largest stakeholder in Tesla also. Tesla is the, the electric car manufacturer in USA, and Elon Musk is the largest stakeholder in that company as well. So this name keeps on appearing in the news very frequently for its activities in space exploration. Answer for this question is Russia. Alright, let us move to the next question. Which institute has joined hands with Bharat Dynamics Limited for the development of affordable ventilators for COVID-19 treatment? Which institution has joined hands with Bharat Dynamics Limited for development of affordable? Yes, this is the biggest issue now, because the number of patients under COVID-19 is increasing day by day, and to provide them good health care, a ventilator system is must. The answer for this question is IIT Kanpur. And not only IIT Kanpur, I'm sure there are other institutes also who are into this, but yes, this is very prominent, and this is also tied up with Bharat Dynamics Limited. Answer is IIT Kanpur, option number 5. Let's move to the next question. Which among the following is winner of inaugural Magnus Carlsen Invitation online chess tournament? Now, Magnus Carlsen is also the world chess champion. At present, his rank is 1 Grandmaster, and this is his initiative. He invited online chess tournament. Worldwide top 8 grandmasters participated on it, and actually he himself owned the championship. So answer for this is option number 4. So it happened online tournament during this lockdown period, during this COVID pandemic. This tournament happened in online platform and owned by Magnus Carlsen. Okay. Let us move to the next question. In fact, this Hikaru Nakamura is the person who was beaten by Magnus in the final round to win the tournament. So he became the runners-up, and Magnus became the champion of the tournament. Which country's head has recently been awarded a commemorative war medal by Russian President Vladimir Putin, marking the 75th anniversary of their victory over Nazi Germany? So the answer among the options is option number 3, Kim Jong-un, North Korea, who has been commemoratively awarded with this award on the celebration of the 75th anniversary of their victory over Nazi Germany. Answer is option number 3. Let's move to the next question. Who among the following Indians? So it's related with the important persons, awards. We have seen number of questions, and there will be again 2-3 questions based on awards and honors. Who among the following Indian has been awarded the 2020 Pulitzer Prize in the field of feature photography? Now, Pulitzer Prize is a very reputed award based off USA, and it forwards its awards in the category of journalism, then poetry, then literature, and online journalism. Now, among all this category, there's one category is feature photography. Now, this feature photography award 2020 was awarded to this 3 person actually. The answer is option number 5. Dar Yasin, Mukhtar Khan, and Chani Anand. Mostly they are photographs of Jammu and Kashmir after this Article 370 has been lifted. Those during that tension situation, whatever initiatives they have taken and the photographs they have taken, it has been recognized by the organizers, and based on that, these 3 people are awarded for Pulitzer Prize under feature photography category: Dar Yasin, Mukhtar Khan, and Chani Anand. Answer is option number 5. Let's move to the next question. Owing to the high inflation, which country has recently changed its national currency from real to Toman? Now, this is a country which has been facing a lot of difficulty in recent days. The real was its currency, and there was a lot of inflation in the currency, and mainly due to the economic ban imposed by the Donald Trump government of USA. The answer is, you might have guessed by now, the answer is Iran. And there are a lot of agitation in the country based on this particular inflation, and the value of currency has really dropped. So what they have decided, they are going to change their currency from real to Toman, and the present valuation will be 1 Toman will be equals to 10,000 reals. 1 Toman will be equals to 10,000 reals. For the exams perspective, there is one more information you must remember. The president of Iran is Hassan Rouhani. The president of Iran is Mr. Hassan Rouhani, who is the head of Iran. Let's move to the next question. Name the rescue operation launched by the Indian Navy to repatriate Indian citizens from overseas. Now, this is during this COVID-19 pandemic. The Indians were stuck up in different countries. The government of India has taken a mission called Vande Bharat Mission. Vande Bharat Mission. So under Vande Bharat Mission, what happens is, there are Indian Airlines aircrafts, they are going to different countries and bringing back the Indians who are stuck up on those places, bringing back to the country. Now, as a part of this Vande Bharat mission, a part of this mission is Operation Samudra Setu. The answer for this one is Operation Samudra Setu, which is an operation by Indian Navy. And under this operation, it is going to repatriate the Indians which are stuck up in Maldives and some other island nations, nearby island nations. So it has been in May. There are 2 phases of it. In the first phase, it has evacuated almost 1,500 people from Maldives and brought back to Cochin. And the name of the operation, as I mentioned, is Operation Samudra Setu. Operation Sankalp and Operation Sahayog and Madad. Operation Sahayog and Madad are again operations of Indian Navy related to rescue of flood-hit areas of mostly Kerala. Recently, last year, when we have a big flood, these are related to those operations. Indian Navy has been assigned two of its warships in the Gulf of Persia and Gulf of Oman to safeguard the Indian vessels passing through these two areas, because recently we heard that two of US vessels were bombed. However, they claim that it has been bombed by Iran. Because of this hot situation in those gulfs, the Indian Navy is providing the security support to the Indian vessels, that is Operation Sankalp. And Operation Sayog and Madad I've already discussed. Vande Bharat mission and INS Jalaswa and INS Magar. Jalswa and INS Magar are the two ships which are associated with Operation Samudra Setu. These two ships are associated with Operation Samudra Setu. Okay, let's move to the next question. Which among the companies has the CSIR's Continuent Lab Institute for Genomic and Integrative Biology signed an agreement for the licensing of know-how for the rapid and accurate diagnosis of COVID-19? Which company has the CSIR's Constituent Lab Institute for the Genomics and Integrative Biology signed an agreement for licensing of know-how or the rapid and accurate diagnosis of COVID-19? The answer is Tata Sons. Economic Affairs Secretary Tarun Bajaj has recently been appointed director on the central board of the. Now, the answer for this is Securities and Exchange Board of India, Reserve Bank of India. Economic Affairs Secretary Tarun Bajaj has recently been appointed director on the central board. Options: NABARD, TRAI, RBI, SEBI and IRDA. The answer for this question is RBI. Now, as we know, for RBI there is a central board. Now, what is the constituent of the central board? Who all are there in the central board of RBI and how many members are there? Now, in the board of RBI there are some official directors. These official directors are obviously the governor of RBI and deputy governors of RBI, maximum up to 4. As per the RBI Act, the number of deputy governors of RBI can be maximum 4. So it makes total 5 as official directors. And there are non-official directors. So among the non-official directors, there are 10 members are from different sectors of the economy and 2 members are from Government of India. So the representatives of Government of India. So that's making it 5 official directors and 12 non-official directors. So 5 plus 12 is 17. And there are 4 directors from the local offices of RBI. That means there are 4 locations, regional offices, Chennai, Kolkata, Mumbai and Delhi. So from these regional offices there are 4 directors. So thus constituting the central board of RBI. Now in that central board, as I mentioned, there are 10 members are elected or nominated from different fields of the economy. One of them is Mr. Tarun Bajaj, appointed as a director of RBI. World Red Cross and Red Crescent Day is celebrated on every year to honor Henry Dunant, the founder of an international Red Cross Crescent movement. The answer is option number 3, May 8. The answer is option number 3, May 8. International Red Cross Society is an international humanitarian movement to protect the life and health of people across the world. So whenever this war affected zones, if you see, you'll find that Red Cross societies are always working and they are very active to make sure that the common citizens are not affected by it. So they take care of their health care or they are saving their life. Answer is option number 3, May 8. Which among the following became the first Indian state to provide midday meal ration to students of primary and secondary schools? Now, during this COVID-19 pandemic, when the schools are closed and as a result the students cannot go to the schools, and among them there are a lot of such students are there who are actually very poor and they don't have that support from their family so that they can have a good meal. So what this movement is done by Madhya Pradesh government. What they have done under this scheme, they have actually gone for two schemes. One is direct money transfer to the accounts of the parents of the students, and also door-to-door ration. Door-to-door, they have managed to make sure the ration goes door-to-door of the students, and the amount of money spent under this is from the midday meal scheme. So that's why it's called midday meal ration to the students of primary and secondary school, and this initiative is taken by Madhya Pradesh government. The Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh is Shivraj Singh Chauhan. The present Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh is Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Alright, let's move to the next one. At which of the following exchanges has Finance Minister Nirmala Sitaraman launched the INR-USD Futures and Options contract? Now, the answer for this question is National Stock Exchange IFSC and BSE India INX. Answer is option number 4. I'll explain in detail. National Stock Exchange IFSC is the wing of National Stock Exchange of its international exchange. Similarly, BSE Inc. International Exchange, it stands for International Exchange. Bombay Stock Exchange wing for International Exchange. In both the spaces, this futures and option contracts are available that can be traded. The answer is option number 4. Now, let us quickly understand this. Now, let's understand what is this future and options contract. This future and option contracts are actually type of derivatives. Now, I'll understand, make sure that what is derivatives. There are 4 types of derivatives we can talk about: forward, future, option and swap. Now, this forward and swaps cannot be traded. They are non-tradable, whereas future and options are tradable. Now, what is a derivative? A derivative is a financial asset whose value is derived from the underlying assets. So this is little technical. Let me give an example which will become very clear. Now, for example, I have a derivative whose value is linked with price of onion. We know that in our country every year the price of onion goes up and down very frequently, and it fluctuates. Now, if I speculate, if I think that maybe in next year in the month of January, February, the price of onion will go up, so I can invest in onion. So I'll have a financial instrument or a derivative which value is linked with onion. So if the price of onion goes up, this particular derivative price also goes up. It itself does not have any value. Please understand, like gold. Gold itself has its own value. Currency, it has its own value. Share, it has its own value. But derivative does not has its own value. So its value is linked with the underlying asset. So the derivative is linked with onion. If the price of onion goes up, the price of the derivative also goes up. If the price of onion goes down, the price of the derivative also goes down. So similarly, this is a commodity derivative. Similarly, I can have a currency based derivative also. For example, I speculate that the value of dollar against Indian currency is going to go up in future. So I can buy a derivative whose value is linked with US dollar. So if the price of US dollar goes up, so the price of the derivative will also go up. So this is a currency derivative. Similarly, there are share based derivative. That means the derivative price is linked with the underlying shares or equity or a set of equity. Okay, so like that we have currency derivative, we can have stock derivative, we can have commodity derivative, and we can also have share market index related derivative, or derivative price is linked with the Sensex or maybe Nifty 50. So Nifty 50 is the index for the top 50 shares in National Stock Exchange. Remember, in National Stock Exchange there are lot of shares, lot of listed companies. Among that listed company, there are top 50 shares. The index for that top 50 share is called Nifty 50. What usually we see in television, that Nifty is 10,000, Nifty is 11,000. That is the index of Nifty 50. Now there are derivatives whose value is linked with this Nifty 50. So if the Nifty 50 value goes up, the value of the derivative also goes up. So like that we can have derivatives which are linked with currency, which are linked with commodity, which are linked with index, share price index, which are linked with shares. Now there can be technically 4 types of derivatives: forward, future, option and swap. These two cannot be traded and these two can be traded. Now as I said, there's a difference between, slight difference between a future and the options. A future is a right and an obligation to buy or sell underlying asset at a predetermined price and predetermined time. I'm repeating it and I'll simplify it also. A forward is a right and an obligation. A right means I have the right to buy that maybe after 6 months. So maybe it's a commodity related product or something like onion. I have the right to, today I buy the security or the derivatives and I have the right to buy that onion after 6 months. And an obligation means I have to buy it. Even if the price goes down, I have to buy it. Right? So that's a future contract. An option is a right, but there is no obligation. That is a slight difference between this future and option. So in option, the name itself says the option. You have an option of buying or not buying it. So there is as such no obligation that I have to buy it. Now, what happened? This currency linked derivatives markets were not very prominent in India. Most of these tradings and business were there in financial hubs like Dubai and Singapore, and the business trading were also moving to those countries. Even the Indian investors also were trading in those markets. As a result, Nirmala Sitaraman, the finance minister, has launched INR, Indian rupees and US dollar future and options contracts from Gandhinagar, Gujarat, fintech city, financial tech city, GIFT city, and this will be traded in these 2 markets: National Stock Exchange IFSC and Bombay Stock Exchange INX. So answer is option number 4. So remember, these are the different types of derivatives. That's all. Let us move to the next question. Which company has the Union Defence Minister recently signed a contract to modernize 37 aircrafts of Indian Air Force? Now with one of these 5 companies, the Union Defence Minister recently signed a contract to modernize this Indian Air Force airfields, 37 airfields of Indian Air Force. The answer is Tata Power. The modernization will be done by Tata Power. Again, a very important question. This type of events or days are quite important for the bank exams perspective. Which of the following trade bodies in India sponsored the 2020 Pravasi Bharatiya Divas? Now, a Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is generally observed on 9th January every year. This is the day to commemorate the return of Mahatma Gandhi from South Africa to Mumbai on 9th January 1915. On this very day, Mahatma Gandhi returned to India. To commemorate that day, every year this Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is celebrated. This year, 2020, from January 21st to 23rd, 15th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas was celebrated. The convention celebrated, and it was at Varanasi. And this particular event, 2020, was sponsored by CII, Chamber of Industry, Indian Industries, Chamber of Indian Industries, CII. ASSOCHAM stands for Associated Chamber of Commerce of Indian Industries. Associated Chamber of Commerce of Indian Industries. Let me repeat it. ASSOCHAM stands for Associated Chamber of Commerce of Indian Industries. So it's a trade body. They help the ecosystem of Indian industry to remain proper, and also negotiate with government for the further development in the sector. Okay, we'll come to that. This event, coming back to this event, the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is an event organized by the Ministry of External Affairs, and the present minister is Mr. Subramaniam Jaishankar. Earlier, late Sushma Swaraj, she was the Minister of External Affairs. So after her demise, Subramaniam Jaishankar is the present External Affairs Minister. And this event, Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, is organized by this ministry. Remember, it can be also a question, which ministry organized Pravasi Bharatiya Divas? It is External Affairs. It was held in Varanasi. CII, SEBI, FIEO stands for Federation of Indian Export Organization. Federation of Indian Export Organization. FIEO, Federation of Indian Export Organization. NASSCOM, National Association of Software and Service Companies. National Association of Software and Service Companies. National Association of Software and Service Companies. Okay, SEBI, you know already, Security Exchange Board of India. National Association of Software and Service Companies. The chairperson of NASSCOM is Keshav R. Murugesh. Keshav, the chairperson of NASSCOM is Keshav R. Murugesh. Murugesh. Keshav R. Murugesh. The chairperson of CII, or rather president of CII, is Vikram Shrikant Kirloskar. The president of CII is Vikram Shrikant Kirloskar. Vikram Shrikant Kirloskar. Okay. And for ASSOCHAM, the president is Niranjan Hiranandani. Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani. The president of ASSOCHAM is Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani. Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani. Anyway, I don't see that chairman or presidents of these bodies are important for the exam. However, this information is very important, and also remember the minister name and the venue. These are important for the exam perspective. Let us move to the next question. Which of the following countries hosted the second International Bioethics Conference in February 2020? Bioethics Conference in February 2020. Answer is Oman, Muscat. In Muscat, this was held. From this, you should definitely remember option number 2, Saudi Arabia. The Crown Prince is Mohammed bin Salman. The Crown Prince is Mohammed. He keeps on appearing in the news for different reasons. And also Israel, the Prime Minister of Israel is Benjamin Netanyahu. Again, a good friend of Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India. And India also shares a very strong relationship with Israel for its bilateral trade and technology transfer. And This is very important for the exams perspective. Benjamin Netanyahu, and obviously for Saudi Arabia. For Bahrain, Khalifa bin Salman Al Khalifa, and Kuwait, Sawa Al Ahmad Al Zaber Al Sabah, and Oman is Haytham bin Tariq Al Said. Okay, let us move to the next question. Who among the following won the ICC Sir Garfield Sobers Trophy 2019? ICC Sir Garfield Sobers Trophy 2019 owned by Ben Stokes, the ICC Best Cricketer of the Year 2019, Ben Stokes. Pat Cummins, option answer is Ben Stokes. Pat Cummins again received the Best Test Player of 2019 ICC Award for Best Test Player of 2019. Marnus Labuschagne won the Emerging Player of 2019, Emerging Player Award 2019, and Rohit Sharma as the Best ODI Player 2019. Rohit Sharma as Best ODI. So for Test, it is Pat Cummins. For ODI, it is Rohit Sharma. Overall Cricketer of the Year, Ben Stokes. Emerging Player of the Year, Marnus Labuschagne. Who among the following is the recipient of the Muppavarpu Venkaya Naidu National Award for Excellence? The answer for this is scientist M.S. Swaminathan. Mr. M.S. Swaminathan is also known as the father of Green Revolution in India. A very famous name, the father of Green Revolution of India. He has been named, he has been awarded with this, and is a social worker. Muniratnam, his name is also nominated for the award. Is a social worker and earlier also a member of National Planning Commission. C.N. Rao is recipient of Bharat Ratna in 2014. Is a chemist, a scientist. After prior to him, there are two other scientists who got Bharat Ratna. One is C.V. Raman and the other is Dr. Kalam, APJ Abdul Kalam, those who received Bharat Ratna. And after that, we have C.N. Rao, a chemist, recipient of Bharat Ratna in 2014. Dr. G. Satish Reddy is the chairperson of DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization. Satish Reddy is the chairperson of DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization, and Mr. K. Shivan, chairperson of ISRO. Okay, let us move to the next question. Who among the following is the winner of 2020 Ramnath Goenka Award for the Energy Reporting in India in Business and Economic Journalism category? The answer is Nidhi Verma, Thomson Reuters. Thank you.